Boom, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Deshaun, otherwise known as Saggy Jello, but you guys can just call me Zabu. Oh, wait, no, it's supposed to be, I don't know what it is. Whatever, the intro. Hi, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Been a hot minute since I've been back on the channel, but we're here. We're not even going to sit here and talk about it. We're just going to get right into the podcast. Guys, this is all going to be based around music. Today is going to be another podcast. We're talking about just straight up music. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about, like, my top 10 Michael Jackson songs currently, right now, just like what I've been feeling lately, because it's completely different from where it was before. I'm also going to be talking about my Apple Music Wrapped for 2022. So I'm going to be talking about my top 10 songs, the artists I listen to, and the albums. We're also going to be answering some questions I got from a viewer, so that's going to be awesome. From a family member, it's going to be lit. So let's just go ahead and get into this freaking podcast, you guys. And we're going to start it off the rip. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the new album Heroes and Villains by Metro Boomin. Of course, everybody should know who Metro Boomin is by this point if you listen to rap or any kind of trap or anything like that. He is one of the best producers that's been out for a hot minute. I would say he's probably building a pretty legacy like type career where he has just like a lot of classics in his back pocket and whatnot. So he's kind of doing his thing. And I went into this album pretty excited. I kind of forgot that it had dropped, but I was excited for it. When I heard that Metro Boomin was coming out with an album, I haven't heard any of his other kind of like not solo works, because I mean he's a producer, so all of his albums are going to be all music he produced featuring rappers that he's cool with and whatnot. So that's what this one was, and I enjoyed it a whole lot. Actually, I enjoyed basically front to back, no skips. I will say 21 Savage did his freaking thing on songs like Umbrella, was like a huge highlight for me. I really, really, really enjoyed that song. And then also songs like what was it? Metro Spider, I believe it was, with Young Thug. That song was freaking crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look at it just to make sure I'm getting the song names right, because I don't want to miss it. Yeah, Metro Spider, I really enjoyed a whole freaking lot, man. I don't know, like I was driving to pick up Marianne, who's in the background right there. You see her right there. Ew. I wanted her to be in the podcast, but she didn't want to be in it. What a jerk. You're a turd. Sit there and play your Plants vs. Zombies or whatever you're doing. But yeah, I was driving to go pick her up, and then Metro Spider came on, and for some reason that song just makes me want to drive fast. I don't know why. Like, I wasn't going crazy. Like, I wasn't speeding too bad or anything. It was just going 5 over everywhere, which is what you should be doing anyway. Or you shouldn't be doing that, kids. Drive the speed limit. But I always drive 5 over. So I was driving like 10 over in certain areas. And I was like, well, I need to relax before I get pulled over. But I don't know. It's just such a good driving song. Especially if you're like driving back from the city or to the city, or like, you're going on some long drive where there's a bunch of lights around you and whatnot. It just feels like a game or a song I should be racing to, like in a game. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little... Did that hit anybody like that? Or I guess if you don't drive, you wouldn't know. But yeah, that song was really good. Basically, everything Travis Scott on here was also pretty good. Travis Scott, it's good to have him back in music now that that whole situation with the show where a lot of people had passed away at his show and whatnot. Now that that's pretty much over, kind of handle and whatnot. Excuse me. I'm glad that he's coming back to music more and more on different projects. You'll see him randomly. I'm excited for whenever he drops his next album, whenever that'll be. So far, I haven't heard any news or anything related to it, but it's always good to hear him back on a song. I could definitely tell he probably had a role in the production, maybe in the songs he's a part of, and he sounds as good as ever. God, dude. I mean, nothing will really top Rodeo Travis for me. That's probably my favorite album from him, but it's still solid stuff. I'm glad that he didn't give up music completely or lose his touch like some rappers can do after not coming back for a while or something like that. So shout out to Travis Scott for that. Yeah, Young Thug was fire on this. 21, like I said. Don Toliver, I don't really listen to him like that, but he was cool. I wasn't the biggest fan. Those are probably some of the weaker songs for me personally, just because I've never listened to him before, and the songs I did hear him on, it didn't really like make me want to go through his discog. But I don't know, maybe if you guys listen to him and think he's really good, think I should check out some of his stuff, I might have to give it a try. But he was pretty solid overall, and I don't know, just everybody in general seemed like they did their thing. Like I said, no skips, so if I had to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give that like a solid 8. And this is just another album going on to further prove my theory, I guess, on Yeah, 2022 is the greatest year for like music releases ever. Like there's just so many. I already talked about it in the last podcast, but like it seems like all the albums that come out just keep adding to that. So, great album. Definitely give it a listen front to back. I hear a lot of people saying like it's better than Her Loss and whatnot. And I will say um I prefer Her Loss still a lot more. I don't think it's better. I think it's a better complete listen through, like front to back, or maybe as a concept, even though it's not too crazy of a concept because it is heroes and villains. And then I believe Marion was telling me that the rollout for the album was based around comics and stuff like that. So it's not like they're sitting there like, yeah, I'm Batman and I'm a black man, but I'm a Superman. Like they're not sitting there doing stupid like superhero bars or whatever. But I do marvel at their ability to marvel. Okay, I'm done. But I do enjoy the subject matter, and they don't sit there and make a bunch of stupid punny things. It's not like this album is all of us as superheroes. It's just good regular trap and rap music, and it's a good place to get into if you don't like the genre or whatever. I think that's a pretty solid listen. So good on Metro Boomin for a good album. I'll still take Her Loss just because that freaking album. You guys will you'll see the numbers, or you'll know the numbers later when I talk about it in my 2022 Wrapped for Apple Music. But then moving on from the same homie, I forgot what the freaking heck your name was before. Right now your name on Instagram is just Uzi, and I see that your profile picture. I believe that's Moon Knight. I believe that's Moon Knight. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And you did also have a question that you asked at the beginning of last month that I didn't even see you message me for. Sorry about that. You asked, question for the podcast. Who do you think has the most consistent mediocre projects for me? Oh, who has the most consistent mediocre projects? For me, that has to be 6ix9ine. Although he doesn't have many projects, I always thought they were subpar with a few good songs, but other than that, they didn't make me feel anything. And I would say maybe 6ix9ine. He's definitely a good one. I mean, I don't know if I would say he's the most consistently mediocre because for me, it's either high or low. Like you can either enjoy the energy he has and a lot, and well, not a lot. I don't know. I'm not gonna give him a heck of credit. You can either enjoy the energy he has in some of his music, or you just obviously hate him for things he says outside of like his songs and sometimes in his songs, speaking down on certain people, and he's just a troll is really what he is. So I don't know. You either love it or you hate it. So I don't feel like he's consistently mediocre because I don't think anyone takes him seriously anyway. But somebody who's like actually trying to like be good at rapping, I would say one of them is definitely has been Eminem in this past decade and stuff. Like just nothing but just painfully average songs, just no real highlights. You'll get like every album Eminem's come out with lately, you get one like technically impressive song when it comes to rapping really fast, but that's not going to make your whole album. All of his music in general has just not been very good for a long time. I mean, he has those three classic albums where you have the Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP, and then frick, what am I thinking of? Not Encore. Why am I drawing a blank? You know what I'm talking about. His little 3 album run. And I like some of his other albums after that as well. And I know a lot of people don't, but I do. But it's just been like miss after miss after miss after miss after miss. And it's like when you hear, if you go back to his old albums, just listen to it front to back, how like lyrically talented he is. And songs like Never Knew, I think it is, I think it's Never Knew off of his Slim Shady LP. And I don't know, songs like Kill You and Criminal, and of course some of his more popular songs like Without Me and whatnot. Like he's so gifted and so lyrically good. It's just like, how do you keep missing on albums? If Nas is still able to make good albums, there's no reason you can't. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if it's the producers are not bringing out that same Eminem in him because he doesn't have Dre around and whatnot. Maybe he just needs to link up with Dre and be like, hey, before I release this album, what do you think? And he'll be like, nah, do not drop whatever you thought that was. But then again, also a super underrated person when it comes to super mid releases is Snoop Dogg. I know people love freaking his classic what he really only has one classic album and then a whole bunch of like goated features, right, babe? Snoop Dogg. He's pretty much just like he has it. Why can I not remember? Is it the Dog Pound or the Dog House or whatever? What's the name of that album? The main one that he has, where he's like laying on the doghouse on top. Dog Pound. Okay, let me make sure before I freaking forget, and then I'm just nerfed. Oh, that's right. He's not on Apple Music. That's why I forgot the name because I haven't been able to see the album in so long. The iconic one that everybody knows. If you look at his like Discog, other than that, he might have like maybe one other good one. It is nothing but straight garbage. There is so much mid. It's crazy. Like, tell me if you guys have ever, like, I'll just go through the albums that are available on Apple Music, which means, if you like Snoop Dogg, just go ahead and tell me how many of these you've listened to and you enjoy. Did any of you guys like No Limit Top Dog from 99? There might be a couple good songs on there. I'm just kind of looking over it real fast. I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. So probably not that one. The last meal. Did anybody like The Last Meal? Is anybody a Last Meal fan? No? Okay. Paid the Cost to Be a Boss. How many of you guys love that Snoop Dogg project from 2002? Paid the Cost to Be the Boss? Nope. Okay. Sure. What about RNG, Rhythm and Gangsta, the masterpiece? Anybody? I mean, that's the album that has Drop It Like It's Hot, but nothing else from what I've seen. Nothing else from what I've seen. I guess the Apple Music is saying the Blue Carpet Treatment is another like essential one from him, but I'm looking through here and I don't think I see anything really worthwhile on there. How about, oh well, Sensual Seduction remixes? What? That's just a whole album of remixes of that song. There's 7 remixes of that song? Okay, I'm not considering that. What about Ego Trippin' from 2008? How many people bumped Ego Trippin' by Snoop Dogg in 2008? No? Okay, well, then we'll just keep going. Ooh, here's a good album from Snoop. This is a hood classic. Malice in Wonderland from 2009. I mean, when you got amazing songs like I Wanna Rock, That's the Homie, Upside Down, Pimpin' Ain't Easy featuring R. Kelly, like, we all knows what those songs are. And then after that, he dropped more Malice, which is, I think, just, yeah, like a deluxe version of it, but all he did, rather than dropping a deluxe version of Malice in Wonderland, he just dropped another album called More Malice. Okay, what about Documentary? Nope. We've got Mac and wait, what is this? Mac and Devin Go to High School. Oh, that's music inspired by the movie. Okay, with him and Wiz Khalifa, I believe. 2015, Snoop Dogg dropped an album called Bush. Yeah. How many people knew he had a song called California Roll featuring Stevie Wonder? Did you guys know that? Because I didn't freaking know that till just now. No? Okay. He also has a song on there called Edibles featuring T.I. in 2015. He has I'm Your Dog featuring Kendrick. Wait, there's a Kendrick? Okay, what? I'm gonna have to listen to that. Then there's Runaway by Gwen Stefani, or featuring Gwen Stefani. Let's go. Then he's got another album called Kool-Aid, spelled with the C. That was in 2016. With songs like Super Crip, Kool-Aid Man, Oh Nah Nah, My Cars. I'm not even gonna go. Then there's Never Left in 2017. So look at that. You've got a 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021 albums. 5 2022 albums. Wait, am I seeing this correct? He's got BODR. So Boater, I don't know. And then Metaverse, the NFT drop volume 1. No way. He's dropping NFT albums. Oh no, what are you doing, Snoop Dogg? Wait, this was Gangsta Grillz, I Still Got It. Who knew that Snoop Dogg had a Gangsta Grillz album? Who knew that? Nobody knows this. What are you talking about? He's got people like Dave East, Juicy J, Corrupt and stuff, like what? And then Snoop Cube 40 Short featuring E40 and Too Short, which is an album that's coming up, I think. Yeah, a lot of these aren't even out yet. So that's supposed to be, okay. It's what's it called? Mount Rushmore with Snoop Dogg, Too Short, E40, and Ice Cube. That's going to drop December 9th. I'll review that. But, like, I literally just took so much time. How many of y'all know those albums and know Literally, find me 5 songs you know from all those albums combined that you enjoy. They are so ridiculously mid, but because Snoop has so many goated features, and every time you hear him, you're just like, oh, I love Snoop Dogg. You forget that solo, he's not it at all. Like, almost worse than Eminem. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. So I would say Snoop Dogg or Eminem personally, just because I don't expect anything from 6ix9ine. I expect greatness from them. But that's just me. That's just what I see. That's just what I do. Okay, moving on. Okay, I love being nerfed. I wanted to revisit my top 10 Michael Jackson song list. I did this in a way earlier podcast, probably like a year ago or so. I gave you guys my top 10 lists of Michael Jackson songs, and I'll read it real quick to refresh your guys' memory. Number 10 was, wait, I either did this on a podcast or I think I put this on my Instagram story with pictures and like links to each song and whatnot. I think that's how I did. I don't know. It might be on a podcast. But this is just the old list, just as a quick refresher. Number 10 was Rock With You. Number 9 was PYT. Number 8 was The Way You Make Me Feel. Number 7 was You Rock My World. Number 6 was Break of Dawn. Number 5 is Dangerous. Number 4 is Leave Me Alone. Number 3 is Remember the Time. Number 2 is Human Nature. And number 1 is Lady in My Life. So other than the number 1 spot being Lady in My Life, which is the same for the list I just made today. Oh, spoilers, I guess. Excuse me. Everything else is completely different. So we're going to run through that real fast. Number 10 on my list. And this isn't objectively like, oh, get all the Michael Jackson songs and put them on a list and see, like, you know, all time. No, this is just what I've been listening to lately, what I've really been feeling. Number 10 is Another Part of Me off of Bad. Okay, first of all, if you haven't listened to Bad as an album, go look at the track list. You'll be like, wait, what? I didn't even realize all these songs were on here. Listen to it again. It's so freaking good. It's such a good album. It's a classic. Of course it is. Another Part of Me is a song I just rediscovered for myself probably 3 weeks ago. And oh my God, you can even ask Marianne in the car when every time the freaking little chorus is on, you're just another part of me. I just be yelling that thing, man. I love it. The number 9 is Leave Me Alone. So that was on the original list. That was number 4. But now it's all the way down to number 9. Just because I listen to it. I would listen to it all the time. So it's a little old for me. But just that freaking pure growl and passion that's in there is just like, don't just leave me. Oh, I don't know. Something about Michael. Like, I realized looking at this list, I seem to like a whole lot of Michael Jackson growl or just like really nice vocals. Obviously, but I don't know how to explain it. But number 8 is Get on the Floor, and that's Leave Me Alone is also off of Bad, I believe. Number 8, Get on the Floor, which is another one of Michael Jackson's most slept on songs. I would say the most slept on song from Off the Wall, personally, just because it's so groovy and funky. You want to dance, you want to skate to it, you want to do all these wonderful things. And I guarantee you, if you have not listened to first of all, you should have already listened to Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, Escape, Invincible. You should have listened to all those albums front to back already. Those are his 5 absolute classic bangers. Everything else is a little meh, you know. Like, I enjoy Blood on the Dance Floor. I enjoy certain songs off of some of the other ones. The album Michael wasn't too great for me, but it's getting nitpicky now. But yeah, absolutely. Get on the Floor is freaking crazy. Number 7, Heaven Can Wait. Oh my freaking goodness. And that's off the album Invincible. Oh my God. The beginning of the song is just like some random little like do 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 do. You're like, what kind of whack freaking? And then you hear him go, tell the angels no, I don't want to leave my baby alone. I was like, oh my God. And then the thing that really sold me on the song is my boy Xavier, X for Soul, X for Kage, Kage for Soul. This man, you guys have seen him in like the Prime, the G Fuel videos and whatnot. He did like this small little dance to it, or like this kind of choreo thing. Oh my freaking god. Bro, y'all don't even, oh my goodness. He ate that so, he lit, like, the song isn't even, like, it's by Michael Jackson, but it's owned by X. Like, you have no freaking idea. Oh my lord, the way just the Danny Angels know. Oh, the footwork. X is crazy. I cannot wait to go see him live. I'm gonna go to an X dance show and it's gonna be amazing. He's in a show. I cannot wait. Shout out to you, X. But frickin' A, Heaven Can Wait's great. Number 6 is Earth Song. And I've heard one person before tell me that Earth Song is his worst song. And first of all, the verse song is the learned song. Because I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna sit here and freestyle. But Earth Song is fire. People don't get all the way through it. The first 2 verses are fire. He's just sitting there like, what about sunrise? You know, just soft, and then the chorus is some nice vocals, and then, you know, there's just kind of, you know, some little instruments in the background, some nice little sounds. You're like, okay, that's cool. And then you get to the second verse, and then the chorus again with a little bit more, and you're like, oh, okay, we're building up. And then he hits you with that little, I think that's considered a bridge, where he goes, I used to dream, and whatnot. Okay, obviously I cannot sing, so sorry for my vocal performance. And then you hear him just, but when now, you know, and then you're like, oh, okay. And then this man sits there and preaches, screams, growls, and just, you can tell Michael is just fed up with how we're treating the earth. And it is so impactful. It's so good. You just listen to that and just sit there and just be like, oh my God. And then another thing I will recommend you guys do, I said, what? Is I would recommend you guys go look up Michael Jackson Earth Song acapella on YouTube. There's a video, it's just the audio, but I know the picture and the thumbnail of the video is just like Michael Jackson's face with the red background. And oh my God, acapella, it's so good. Especially when you get to that like end half of the song where he's just sitting there preaching on it. Because you hear him just yelling, and then you hear like this constant, I don't know if it's like foot tapping from him in the studio, or if it's just like a drummer hitting something constantly. But then they also have the gospel vocals on as well, and it's just such an experience. It's really good a cappella. I almost prefer it a cappella, low key. It's crazy. It's such an underrated song. I love that song so much. Number 5. Now we're in the top 5. Number 5 is Liberian Girl. And, dude, I don't know why I love this song so much. That's also off the album Bad. Oh, I forgot to say, I don't think Earth Song is on an album. But oh my freaking God. Oh my freaking God. Liberian Girl. It's the chorus, man. It's just the, you know that you came and you changed my world. I'm like, ooh, Michael, do what you do, little nigga. Like, oh my goodness. It's that little like bass like that dunk 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 dunk. Like, I don't know. It's good. Just trust me, it's good. See, like a lot of these are from the album Bad, so you can tell I literally just recently listened through it, and I was like, I love these songs so much. So it's a little bit of recency bias, but yeah, absolutely. Liberian Girl is crazy. Number 4, Human Nature. I mean, that's like a classic Michael Jackson song to me. It's just so good. It's easy to learn the words to, and it's so much fun to sing. So, if you're ever driving in a car with me, or like, if I ever do something, like when I get big enough to where I can like have a show where I could just play, like I can go on stage, and then myself and then everybody that came to the show will all just sit there and sing songs all day. Like it'd be fire. When that song comes on, we're all gonna have to pop off because that freaking, oh my God, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. I even have it on my PC. I have Clone Hero. If you don't know what Clone Hero is, that's basically just Guitar Hero on the PC. That's made by the people who didn't, like, it's not made by the people who made Guitar Hero, so you're able to download custom songs that people make. I have Human Nature on there, and it's a lot of fun to play that little. It's so good. So Human Nature is always going to be in the top 5, but you never know. Maybe I'll overplay it, and I won't want to hear it as much. Number 3 is Who Is It? Just because I don't know why. Like, I feel like I annoy my friends and other people who are in my car often, because every time that song's come in, because the moment the freaking like bass and whatnot comes in, I'm always like, oh, And it's like, oh my god, you do this every time. But I don't know. I just freaking love it. Who is it? Is it a friend of mine? Who is it? Ooh, and it doesn't seem to matter. Oh my god. Oh my lord. I want to listen to it right now, but I can't because I'm doing a podcast. But man, who is it's good. Love that song to death. I'll always love that song. So who is it's always a banger. I think that's off of Escape. I think that's off Escape. I think. Either way, moving on. Number 2 is Billie Jean. Dude, if you put a gun to my head and you're like, you have to sing a Michael Jackson song karaoke style and you can't look at the lyrics, know all the words, Billie Jean, I got it. I freaking got it, man. I love singing Billie Jean. I'm not a good singer. Don't sit there and be like, oh, will you sing it one day on the podcast? Absolutely not. You'll just have to play it for me in a car, or you have to catch me with my social battery at least 25% and play the song, and I'll sing it with you. But freaking A. Billie Jean. Do I have to say anything about Billie Jean? Like, I feel like we all know Billie Jean, right? And with the 40th anniversary of Thriller album that came out, which, amazing. They added a Billie Jean remix that Kanye did in 2008. And it sounds so old Kanye. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And I love it so much. That was a highlight for the new music on the 40th anniversary, which you still need to go listen to that if you haven't. Amazing song. But obviously, number 1, like I said, is The Lady in My Life. Absolutely amazing song. I will always say it's the most slept on song. I would say it's one of the most slept on songs of all time, period. Just because of how big Michael is and how good the song is. It's stupid. And being on the best selling album of all time, that to me is the most underrated song in music history. Because it's like, okay, if everybody's bought this album so much, how is nobody talking about this song still? So hopefully I've put you guys onto The Lady in My Life. I will sing its praises until the day I die. You guys should already know by now. The Lady in My Life is always a goated song. But now to the 2022 Apple Music Zabu's World wrap up, or whatever the freak you want to call it. I took screenshots of these, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read them off to you. We're going to go my top 10 songs I listen to, then my top 10 artists, and then the top 10 albums that I listen to. And I'll read you guys the stats as well. So we'll go 10 to 1 every time. I'll give you guys what I think about the songs and whatnot, and we'll go ahead and go. All right, number 10 on my top 10 song list was The Dream Shatterer by Big Pun on his album Capital Punishment. God freaking dang, this is my favorite Big Pun song, and you guys who have been listening to all the podcasts should know by now, I absolutely love Big Pun. He does have like a special spot for me in terms of like where I rank rappers and whatnot. He's very high up there. So The Dream Shatterer is just 3 amazing verses. The chorus is really, really simple and basic. But it's the 3 verses when you're just sitting there listening to it's almost like he's making salsa with words. He's just chopping it up and throwing all these things in there. Like, oh my god, what did he say in the 3rd verse? I'll make your crew do flips like acrobatics. I'm charismatic. My gad is magic. It makes rappers disappear. Whisper in your ear. Crystal clear. Come here. Let me kiss your tears. Everything you fear is here. You ain't gotta search further. The first murder's the worst. Now I thirst further for reverse birth. Every verse hurts. Every curse word's already more funny than Eddie Murph's worst. I thirst for blood like a vampire. Any man claiming his game's tighter is a gosh darn liar. I set him on fire. Retire your train of thought. Like, dude, how are you hitting me with all these words right now? Oh my god, like, listen to The Dream Shatterer. I mean, you should listen to that album anyway, but The Dream Shatterer is the highlight for me. Of course, you have the songs out there like I'm Not a Player and Still Not a Player that are probably more, like, Still Not a Player is probably better commercially. I heard that in a club once. And then there is I'm Not a Player, which is a very lyrically inappropriate song. Very vulgar, sexual lyrics, but it's still fire. The beat's too good. So, number 9 on the list was The Heart Part 5. I thought this would be higher, honestly. But then I realized I also listen to it a lot on YouTube for the music video. So, obviously, that's not going to factor into here because this is just off of my stats on what I listen to on my Apple Music. So, that's why I feel like if I incorporated how many times I watched the music video, this probably would have been higher on the list. But The Heart Part 5, my pick for the best song of the year, Am I biased? Absolutely. But when you take into consideration the lyrical greatness that he had there, the amazing beat and sample, and the take the drums out, ka-dum-dum, ka-dum, ka-dum, like that's bass you can feel. Like you could feel the bass in that. Um, you look at the subject matter, the how he it was like a week, it was released I think a week before Mr. Morale was dropped, so we got a little taste of some Kendrick after getting Family Ties and Trademark, or no, not Trademark. What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? What's the other one? Thank you, Range Brothers. Holy crap. Yeah, after we got some taste of him there, then we got just a full Kendrick song before that album. It was amazing. And then also, it felt like we all were able to cope with the passing of Nipsey and Kobe because we saw them in the music video. And he did it so tastefully, so good, where it made so many people cry just watching the Nipsey parts. Both of the times he turned into Nipsey in the video. The part where you see Kobe just really hurts, man. It's usually when you see people kind of pay homage, especially if you're gonna put their face on your face in a music video, you are taking a huge risk putting Kobe and Nipsey in there, knowing how much they mean to the black community, rap, the sports into like sports and just life in general. So many people like they mean a lot. So if you're gonna take that risk, it better freaking pay off, and it did. He did such an amazing job, and I love him so much for that. So the Heart Part 5, just an amazing song. That's the kind of song where like every time you listen to it, I feel like you hear a new bar that you're like, storytelling and whatnot, or just like crazy bars. But then if you try to read the lyrics and rap along with him, you literally can't because it's just his flow is so silky smooth and not predictable. I love it. Number 8 is Footsteps in the Dark Parts 1 and 2 by the Isley Brothers. I mean, that is the song that Ice Cube, well, whoever made the beat for the song, It Was a Good Day, that's the song that they sampled from. The Isley Brothers, I freaking love them. I listened to them a whole lot this year. And spoiler alert, you will hear another song that is on here on the list as well for the top 10 songs. Um, but yeah, Footsteps in the Dark, a crazy good song. The chorus hits every time. Literally doesn't miss. Every single word that man says on there is not a miss. Like it's not lyrically good. It's like so vocally sound and just the way it hits my ears is crazy. I love it, and it slaps in my car. So shout out to that. Number 7, Careless Whisper. This is low key mine and hers right there, and hers like song for our relationship. The original one was My Boo by Usher and Alicia Keys, right? By Usher and Alicia Keys. Low key, Careless Whisper. It's kind of taken over My Boo. Like every time it comes on in the car, we always look at each other like, okay, are we gonna do it? Like, do we have to do this? And we do it. And man, you guys don't even know. We literally sit there and just freaking sing the heck out of that song. Especially the part where he goes, "Tonight the music seems so loud." We lose our voice every time trying to say that jazz. So, of course, Careless Whisper is going to be on there. I freaking love Wham. So, it's no surprise that Wham is in there. I think that's the only song that Wham has in the top 10, but still, it's my favorite Wham song, so good on them. Or I guess it could also be considered more of a George Michael song. What, regardless, you know what I'm talking about. Number 6, For the Love of You, parts 1 and 2 as well. Oh, sorry, you know what? I didn't even read off the amount of times I listened to them. Whatever, I'll read it for the top 5. But For the Love of You, parts 1 and 2, this is my favorite Isley Brothers song. It's such a feel-good song. I love singing it. The vocals are always good because it's an Isley Brothers song. So, of course, everything they do is fire. But this is my favorite song just because of how happy it makes me and how great I feel when I hear it and it comes on. So this is for sure gonna be in the top 10, and it'll probably be there for the rest of my life just because I love listening to that song. So give it a try if you haven't listened to the Isley Brothers. It's kind of hard to be in a bad mood and listen to that song. But now we're in the top 5, and this is where it gets down to the real nitty gritty. So number 5, we've got Human Nature by Michael Jackson, which, I mean, it was number 4 on my top 10 list right now. So there's a reason I did say I love freaking singing that song and whatnot, and that is just a banger of a song. I was kind of surprised it made the top 5 over some of the other ones. I thought maybe Who Is It was going to be higher, but nope, Human Nature just prevailed and did its thing, and I already sang in its praises earlier, and I played that thing 54 times, apparently. So I thought it would have been more, but I think it counts for how many times you listen to it front to back, the amount of times I probably restarted it before it finished is an infinite amount. Number 4 is Walkin' by Denzel Curry. And gosh dang, when I heard this freaking album and I heard this is the song that I was like, this man is just on a whole nother level. The beat switch on there, to me, it's still my favorite. All right, okay, let me chill a little bit. I was going to say, it's the best beat switch of 2022, but I think some of the beat switches on Her Loss are probably a little bit better. But, oh my God, Walkin's so good. He just, like Denzel Curry, I mean, the album, period, the Melt My Eyes, See Your Future album, in general, was a real coming of age album for Denzel Curry. I don't feel like he's ever really been bad. Obviously, he had the song Ultimate that blew up for everybody. But to me, this album, he just seems like it's kind of like when you see like a sensei after he's been through all these battles and whatnot, and you see how they walk and they carry themselves, like they're just so much wiser. And it seems like he matured and is so much wiser now and has learned so much and reflected and gone to therapy and done so much for himself that he seems so much better now musically and just as a person. So I'm really happy for him that he was able to do that. And the song Walkin' was my second favorite song off the album. Spoiler alert. And it was amazing. So I love Walkin'. Clear a path as I keep on walking. Ain't no stopping in this dirty, filthy, rotten, nasty little world we call our home. Like, oh, it's so good. Number 3 coming in. Oh, sorry, I played Walkin' 57 times. Number 3 on the list with 61 plays is Billie Jean by Mitchell Dixon. And this song, I don't know if you guys have ever heard Billie Jean. I think I talked about it earlier, but of course it's on there. Are you kidding me? I literally just said that's the one that, like, a gun pointed in my head, sing a Michael Jackson song without missing a lyric. That's the freaking song. Yeah, Billie Jean, classic. I listened to it way too much this year, and I don't regret it. And it'll probably be there again next year. Just letting you know. Now, ooh, it's surprisingly, it's only one play behind the number 1 and 2 songs, which are also tied. So Billie Jean was at 61 plays. My number 1 and 2 songs are tied at 62 plays. And this is crazy. So it's a tie between, drum roll please, Melt Session, well, I just butchered, Melt Session 1 by Denzel Curry off of Melt My Eyes, See Your Future, the very first song of the album, and Family Ties by Kendrick and Baby Keem. Like, were you guys even surprised? I mean, like, you guys heard the Hard Part 5 was on the list. You guys were like, there's no way that Kendrick only has 1 song on the top 10 list. You'd be mistaken. Because Family Ties is definitely my favorite, is like top 5, maybe even top 3 Kendrick songs. Even though it's him and Baby Keem, it makes both of their lists from like my top songs by both artists respectively, because gosh dang it, man. When that song dropped, people were like, oh, Kendrick's back. I was like, Kendrick's back. And then oh my God, when you hear the bass hit, oh my God. Also, super biased, saw it live when I went to the Kendrick concert, so that made me play it a lot more because now I just keep revisiting that in my head. And jeez, little freaking wheeze, man. This song's just crazy. So many bars. Baby Keem killing his freaking performances. He sounds good. He rapped good. He had bars in there. He was just crazy on it. The beat switches and all these sounds are just amazing. I do think I like Family Ties more than Range Brothers, but Range Brothers, freaking A. I'd probably take Baby Keem's verse and Range Brothers, but I'll take Kendrick's verse and Family Ties. So I get the best of all the world. Shout out Hannah Montana, I think, who made that song. And then Melt Session number 1. Yeah. I was very surprised to see that number, my 62 plays. But shoot, Marianne was there with me in the car when I played the song again, and it hit me again. Because, like, I remember when I listened to the album, I was like, yeah, I really like the very first song off this album. And then I just kept playing Walkin' over and over and over and over again. And I was like, wait, what was the first song on that album that I said I really liked? And then I re-listened to it with her in the car, and I was sitting there, and I was like, dang, wow, okay. Like, bro, it was just it was so crazy. Because I was going through some stuff in my life when he said the bar, me and my so called best friends who don't speak often. That was exactly what I needed to hear where I was in my life at the time. Because, man. Y'all don't even know, man. Y'all don't even freaking know. Like I said, I was going through some stuff with some friends where I wasn't like a lot of my really close friends. I just didn't hear from them that often. And it was really bugging me. And I was really going through it. It was really making me sad and upset. But then I heard the song and that lyric was said. And I was like, but the main thing is probably the beat for me. I mean, he literally like what I was saying about earlier about him coming like maturing more and you can tell he reflected. That song is basically like it felt like his therapy session. I mean, it's called Melt Session #1. You could tell it was just like he just all these emotions and stuff built in inside of him. It literally like melted out of him. Like he was finally releasing all these things. You hear about like me and my so-called best friends don't speak often. Women I've objectified, like stuff like that. Like all these things, and he's like apologizing about it. Just like I couldn't see what I was doing at the time. Like I got used to this way of life, and I think it's a really good, like probably one of my favorite. I guess not really storytelling, but I guess reflective pieces by an artist ever. And the freaking production on it with the amazing like keyboard like sounds kind of carrying like that bass keyboard. I don't even know what you call that. Maybe it's no, not a synth. I don't know. But either way, these like really good notes that are being played, which by the way, I don't know if you guys can see right over there. I don't even think I told you guys on the channel. I got a keyboard and I'm learning songs on it. Maybe one day I'll play for you guys. But gosh dang. Amazing. But then the drums come in, and my favorite part about the drums is it's not like, I mean, it does like loop after a little bit, but it's like a long chunk that loops. Like it sounds like he didn't even write like, okay, I need you to play this here and this here and this here. He was just like, listen to the beat, listen to me rap, just play the drums based on what you think. And it's just so good. It adds so much to the song for me. And then the buttery smooth transition right into Walkin' makes this song definitely like probably right behind the Heart Part 5, because this song came out in 2022. Family Ties was last year, right? Yeah, Family Ties last year. So Melt Session #1 is my second favorite song of the year. I mean, it's just amazing. Listen to it if you haven't. But that is my top 10 songs listened to. Now we'll go into the artist. And I won't spend as much time on these people. I'll maybe shout out a couple reasons why I listen to each artist as much as I did. Number 10 on my list is Nas at 737 minutes. I did go back and listen to Illmatic and whatnot again. Also, his new album was probably what added to a lot of those minutes. I listened to it like probably 3 times front to back to really get an idea of if I liked it or not, and I really did. But I mean, there's a lot of really good Nas songs off Illmatic. Some of his other albums I'm forgetting the name of. I apologize since Nas is such a legend, but he's just good to listen to. The Lost Tapes, I like a lot of songs off of there, like Purple and such. So listen to him a whole lot, but not as much as obviously some of these other rappers. Eminem is number 9 at 812 minutes. I mean, I'm telling you guys, old Eminem is like, if I was to rank old Eminem, take away all of his recent stuff, like all of his prime albums, he is in my top 5 rappers of all time. The only reason he's getting lower and lower is because every freaking release he has is so freaking mid. But I love me some Eminem. I'll go all day with him. I know a lot of, like, I grew up learning his songs. He's kind of, the way I freestyle and the way I like rap, a lot of it is shaped off of Eminem. So I have to give him his props because he helped shape me being into hip hop as much as I am. So shout out to Eminem. Number 8 is Baby Keem at 1,089 minutes. Bro, Baby Keem grew the freaking heck on me. Not just because Mr. Morale. It was even before then. It's a lot of it had to come from Marianne as well. She was kind of like, oh, do you like Baby Keem? I was like, yeah, I like Family Ties. She was like, oh, I like a lot of his other stuff. I was like, okay, I'll try it out. So I started listening to some of the albums. Unfortunately, I didn't learn the songs as much before the show. I'll tell you what, Marianne at the freaking show, every single Baby Keem and Kendrick song, she knew way more than me, bro. She was going crazy for everything Baby Keem was spitting and whatnot. She was just living her best life. And also, spoiler alert, her freaking top 10 artists listen to, her list is so insane. Bro, she listened to Kendrick for like almost 5,000 minutes. Like, he was number one by such a huge margin. The number two was like 600 minutes. And Kendrick's like 4,800 and something crazy. So, yeah, obviously, Kendrick hit her a little differently this year. But Baby Keem, I mean, Melodic Blue is, for me, his best album. His other two earlier albums, I think, are still really good. Not quite as good. They're kind of like when you listen to Kendrick and you listen to Section 80 and stuff, you're like, okay, and Overly Dedicated, you're like, okay, I could see like how this was the beginning of him. A lot of you get some certain shades and glimpses of what makes them so good later on in their career, but I still think they're good. You got songs like Hooligan and whatnot. Mosh Pit is a really good one. But yeah, Melodic Blue is just a freaking classic. And then he slid like a mother trucker on the freaking Savior interlude on Mr. Morale. Gosh dang, that man did his freaking thing. And obviously, all of his. He's amazing live. Like, he is so crazy good live. If you guys are ever like, oh, there's a Baby King concert, but Kendrick's not going to be there, freaking go. I don't even care if you've never listened to a song by him. Just go. Everything about it. The aesthetics of how he sets everything up and whatnot, he's fire. I love him. Number 7 is Tupac with 1,094 minutes, just 5 more minutes, or basically the length of maybe a song and a half by Tupac, more than Baby Keem. Tupac will always be in my top 10. He was my favorite rapper for the longest time until I started hearing Kendrick and listened to older Eminem's full discog and all these other rappers like Andre 3 Stacks and whatnot. So Tupac will always be up there, though. Just, for me, Tupac is like the Michael Jackson of rap, where it's not like he just has too many good songs for you to not put him in your top 10. It's just there's too many of them. Like, you can go through All Eyes on Me, Me Against the World, and a lot of his like Tupac's greatest hits albums and whatnot. And like, it's so hard finding bad songs on there. There's even songs that you kind of like but you just love. He has my favorite verse on California Love. And just all of that. Like, do I need to say anything about Tupac? We all know who Tupac is and why he's goated, right? I feel like I don't need to explain myself on why I listen to Tupac as much as I do. Now, number 6, and this surprised me, he was over the people I just listed, was Drake. I was not ready for Drake to be at 1,131 minutes. That's kind of crazy. A lot of it came from Her Loss, though. A lot of that came from Her Loss because I listened to the friggin' heck out of that friggin' album. But I also decided to go through his discog fully twice. I listened to Take Care, I think 3 times, and the rest of his discog probably 2 combined. So I did a lot of, I guess, homework on Drake. So that's a lot of those numbers, those minutes can come from there. But Her Loss was amazing. I freaking love Drake, so love him for that. Didn't expect him to be my 6th best. But now we get into the top 5. I mean, I feel like it's not even surprising why these people are up here. Number 5, J. Cole. Man, I'll tell you what, when I first, you can, again, ask Marianne, when J. Cole is probably her favorite rapper of all time. Is that still true, babe? Yes, okay, it is. I was not that into J. Cole. But then one day, I don't even know how, I got it. Like, all of it hit me, and I was like, oh my god, 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 J. Cole. And I feel like he would be even higher on this list if the amount of times I've watched his freaking LA Leakers freestyle counted into this. Because, I mean, I know that thing verbatim, dog. I know the freaking heck out of that. Man, For Your Eyes Only is ridiculously good. And kind of overhated. When people were like, well, people who listen to music kind of like as a passion know that For Your Eyes Only is good. But people who are just like, my favorite rapper is Lil Baby. Ew, For Your Eyes Only, disgusting. I like YBN or whatever, or like whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. NBA, that guy. Like, I don't know. They just hate on it unnecessarily. Like, oh, it's boring, it's slow. I'm like, are you not hearing this man pour his heart out? Are you not hearing this? The storytelling? Are you not paying attention? Hello? What? So I would go ahead and give that album a listen. Obviously, the Sideline Story, the off season, crazy. 2014. KOD. I think I need to revisit KOD because I don't remember a lot of songs from there. I know a lot of people hate it, but maybe it'll grow on me a little bit more as well. Just crazy amounts of classic releases. I listen to a whole lot of J. Cole. I would say probably the song I listen to the most from him, though, is 95 South. It's just too easy for me now. Nigga, Cole been going plaid since back when CDs was around. Like, You Luigi brother now. Like, oh my god, that's Trace my steps all in this game. You can see we cover ground. Back and forth from NC2 New York when GZ had the crown. Vivid memories never start to squeeze, we ducking down. Some of these shells left on the ground have made the Easter Bunny proud. I get up. Just, oh my god, J. Cole. It's literally just sounds like he's just floating on a track, just sitting there just like, I'm gonna show you guys how to just spit bars. Like the intro was amazing and the beats fire, but it's almost like J. Cole's just like, no, you screw all of like the I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna try to do all this. Let me just freaking rap. Like, let me just rap for a second. So freaking good. Then of course, man, I'm sending the street to meet the Nipa creeping on you. The Santa Fe reeking on you. Check your genitalia and bleeding on you. Still, like, oh my god, J. Cole, what he done? It's crazy. J. Cole's wild. So shout out to J. Cole. He did make it over Drake. Number 4 at 1,319 minutes is Kanye, or Canceled West, or okay, I'm gonna stop there. Let me not go into Kanye's political views and whatnot. But freaking A. I mean, Kanye's discog is classic. What do you want me to say? He has probably 6, maybe 5, 6, maybe even 7 all-time great albums. I mean, College Dropout, Late Registration, Off Top, 2 classics. Graduation, that trilogy is goated and it's ridiculously good. So, of course, he's going to be up there. And then, of course, you have... Donda wasn't feeling Donda quite as much. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is another freaking banger. It's a classic. Life of Pablo, I would say, is a pretty good album. Probably the weakest out of the ones I've said so far. Kids See Ghosts, which he did with, I think, Kid Cudi. I don't even like Kid Cudi like that, but friggin' A, I like that album. Because, man, that boy's ridiculous. But yeah, for some people, Donda, sure, go ahead, you can have that one. Yeezus and whatnot are kind of meh. Yeah, he isn't really my cup of tea, but he just has too many good songs and whatnot. I've probably listened to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy the most, mainly because Devil in a New Dress and all of the lights are on there. But Graduation, man, telling you, Flashing Lights, Good Life, Good Morning, I Wonder. It doesn't get much better than that. Just crazy. Through the Wire and whatnot off of, what is Through the Wire off of? Was that Late Registration or is that College Dropout? No, that's Dropout, right? I think that's Dropout. Regardless, who cares? Kanye's number 4. Number 3 is Tyler, the Creator, at 1,832 minutes. It's Tyler. Ooh! No, I'm not going to go get him. But I have Tyler's trilogy in vinyl. I got them all. I got Flower Boy and Igor on Black Friday. And I've had Call Me If You Get Lost for a while. But God, dude, listening to Tyler's music is like experiencing so many different genres blended together in such a beautiful way. And you can tell he really cares about his craft. And like when he makes an album, you can tell he wants it to be good. He doesn't want to make a bunch of money. He doesn't want it to sell crazy. He doesn't want to chase clout or chase trends or just have big numbers. He just wants to make quality music. And that's what he does, man. He just so good. At the time of me recording this, my favorite album from him is probably Igor, then Flower Boy, then Call Me. Igor did end up taking Flower Boy off for now, just because I listened to Flower Boy so many freaking times, and I didn't listen to Igor quite as much. Like, Call Me is pretty old for me right now. I overplayed that way too much last year. So, Igor, I was in the background because I was listening to so much Flower Boy and Call Me. So, now, God, freaking A, Igor's so crazy. And the vinyl has a song on there that isn't on Apple Music and whatnot. And that was fire. So, shout out to Tyler, man. If you guys haven't heard the trilogy, go through it. It's amazing. I don't think you really need to listen to Goblin or Wolf or any of that, but Flower Boy, Igor, and Call Me If You Get Lost is 3 classic albums. It's one of the best trilogies in music history, if you ask me, but that's just me being biased. Number 2 is Kendrick. So, Tyler was at 1,832. Kendrick is at 3,946. But, I mean, should we be surprised, though? Should we? He just dropped an album. The album of the year. For rap and albums, point blank and period. Mr. Morale is a certified classic in rap and in his discog. To Pimp a Butterfly is still the greatest rap album of all time. Good Kid, Mad City is I would say a top 3 concept rap album of all time. Damn is just like, do you guys want to hear how many absolute bangers I can make? It's almost like Kendrick listened to Thriller and was like, oh, I could do that, and then just did that real quick. Untitled Unmastered, which is another vinyl I got on Black Friday, is just is really just like a victory lap. Like when you make an album based off of songs you didn't feel like were good enough for your other albums, or maybe didn't feel like it was right to release it, and you're like, here's some songs I threw away, and it's better than a lot of people's entire discog. That's ridiculous. That makes no sense. Section 80 is an amazing listen. Still to this day, a lot of really good songs on there. Going through all the songs, unreleased like it also factored in the songs I listened to on SoundCloud. Cause shout out to Marianne, she freaking was digging deep through the SoundCloud crates to find all this unreleased Kendrick, and there's like 60 songs on a playlist. We went through almost all of them, and our minds were just ridiculously blown. I thought The Heart Part 5 was good. The Heart Part 1, 2, 3, 4, oh my goodness! Number 1 is probably my favorite out of 1 through 4. Number 5 is probably my favorite all time. Number 1 is probably my favorite for the first 4. It's crazy. Well, wasn't it like number 4, babe, where he was like rapping, and then it switched into the beat from Fear real quick, and then he went right back into the regular beat? Oh, that might have been 3. 4 or 3. Man, when that came on, we were like, oh, 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 oh my God, what are you on? But Kendrick's just too goated with his discog. Good luck finding a Kendrick album that doesn't slap. Or even low-key a Kendrick song. And he's good on features. So that's just what I have to say about that. But number 1, I don't know. Could you not? There's no way you couldn't guess number 1. Of course it's Michael Jackson. Of course. He's my favorite artist of all time. I listen to him the most. I listen to him 4,679 minutes. That's ridiculous. It's Michael Jackson. I have a playlist of just Michael Jackson songs. How long? Like, if I was to listen to that playlist, how long would it take me to get through my Michael Jackson only playlist? Where is he? Where the freak is he? It would take me 4 hours and 9 minutes to get through all the Michael Jackson I have on there. And I'm looking at it, I'm still seeing some songs I don't have on there. Letting you guys know. Also, I wanted to ask you guys, if you guys have made it this far, that was close to a voice crack. If you guys have made, I have Michael Jackson on my shirt. If you guys have made it this far, would you guys want me to make like a Spotify playlist or an Apple Music playlist and then share that, like have a weekly playlist you guys can tune into and listen with me to what I'm listening through the week? Would you guys want that? Would anybody be down? Would anybody actually use it? Maybe. Yes, no, comment, let me know. We'll see. Moving on. We're going to get into the albums. But I don't need to talk more about Michael Jackson. You've probably heard enough. Albums. And this is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. Number 10 is Apartment 505 by Coast Contra. The Coast. The GOATs. On their way to be one of my favorite rap groups of all time. I think Apartment 505 is a really good album. Its replay value is not as high as I thought it would be. I think I listened to their freestyles on YouTube a lot more than the album itself, but it's still a lot of really solid and good music on there. And it did make my number 10 album for just the year. I had 75 plays on that. That's not 75 times I went front to back. That's just combining the amount of times I listened to all the songs from that album. So, Apartment 505, hey, Coast, you made the top 10, baby. What's poppin'? Number 9, this is a little weird, but I'll say it anyway. Number 9 is Melt My Eyes, See Your Future with 76 plays, which it had 2 songs in my top 10 for songs, but I don't know. I guess because I don't know. It's number 9 on my album list. That's weird to me, but another great album. I don't care as much for the second half of the album. It's mainly just Melt, Session, and Walkin' that really do it for me. Those are the only 2 songs I need for that album to be a classic to me. Point blank period. Number 8, Igor by Tyler, the Creator, with 80 plays. I'll tell you what, right after it gave me my rap thing, that's when I really started digging into Igor. This would be way higher up on the list. But, whatever. Igor is on there. I listen to it a whole freaking lot, though. I'll tell you that right now. Amazing album. Number 7, To Pimp a Butterfly at 100 plays. The only reason this isn't like top 3 or whatever, because it is my favorite rap album, I listened to it so many times front to back that I was trying to explore a lot more music, and a lot of other things. And it's the kind of album where when I want to listen to that album, I want to listen to it front to back. I can press shuffle on it and enjoy all the songs, but I really like just hearing the full story of it. So I don't have the time to do that as much as I would like to. So that's why it's as low as it is, but it's an absolute classic. Number 6 is Damn by Kendrick with 105 plays. Amazing album. I mean, that's would make sense that plays are higher because I can just press shuffle on it and listen to it. A lot easier if I'm just kind of like in the car real quick. I'm driving somewhere real fast. Just play something off a Damn real quick. That makes a lot of sense. So obviously a good one. Number 5, which is probably my second favorite album of this entire year. Like, I'm not joking. This album is one of the best albums. It's might crack my top 10 albums of all time. Dawn FM by The Weeknd. For a lot of it comes from the way I listened to it for the first time. It was me, Marianne, and two of our friends. We went in our friend's room. He had on these amazing lights in the ceiling and whatnot, so it was like such a vibe. And we listened to the album, and oh my god, dude, the freaking music on there! It was such an experience, such a great concept album, such a great experience. The Weeknd literally never misses with his vocals ever, and it's such a unique sound, and it's so iconic that he's like such a ridiculously talented singer. But god dang, when Jim Carrey at the end decided to talk to our souls, this man literally talked to our souls. He wasn't just singing or rapping or anything. This man had the hardest verse of 2022. This freaking Jim Carrey. When we saw that Jim Carrey's on the album, we're like, what? How? And then we heard him on a couple of like the little interludes and whatnot. We're like, oh, okay. He's just kind of there for some like comedic charm. The same way Metro Boomin had Morgan Freeman in the intro to Heroes and Villains. God dang, Jim Carrey, dog, you gotta chill. He had Marianne shook pretty bad after that. She was a little shook to the core. Yeah, great album. Probably one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time, but I'll have to look through the list. I don't know. It's kind of wild. Number 4 is Her Loss, and that's crazy because Dawn FM came out like beginning of the year. Her Loss came out maybe a month before this Wrapped happened. I have 125 plays on that. It hard carried like crazy for Drake's numbers. In terms of me listening to Drake as much as I did, this album is a huge reason I did that. So, amazing album. Definitely up there in my top favorite albums from the year. Probably like top 3. Probably ranked 3rd, maybe 4th or 5th. I don't know, but Her Loss is just too good. Freaking Drake and 21. Well, Drake featuring 21 on this album is amazing. Love it to death. Number 3, Call Me If You Get Lost. I told you I overplayed it. Like with 165 plays, I listened to this album way more than I actually like to admit. And that's why it's really old for me right now, because I just listened to the freaking heck out of it. But this is a really interesting one, because right after Call Me If You Get Lost, we have Flower Boy with 201 plays. But there's a reason, because every time I listen to a Tyler, like when I want to listen to Tyler, I always listen to the album front to back, because they're such good experiences front to back. Call Me If You Get Lost is a little bit less so, but the story of Igor is ridiculous, and Flower Boy is just so. It's literally like glistening. It's like watching like a beautiful river with the sun glistening off the top, looking like little crystals are flooded with throughout the water. It's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. I love that. But I mean, oh wow, can we guess what the number 1 album is? I wonder what it's gonna be. Of course it's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Duh. What the freak? 263 plays on that jazz. You shouldn't be surprised. It's a new Kendrick album, and I got to be a fan of him when he released it, because I got into Kendrick probably, I want to say maybe 2020, maybe 2021 is when I was like, okay, wait, this guy is the GOAT. I was ridiculously hyped for this album. It didn't disappoint me at all. I remember I stayed up extra late for its release and didn't sleep for work, and that was a huge mistake, but I would never take it back. We did see him again at the show, and we listened to the album like 3 times on the way there and like 2 times on the way back. Ridiculous. I've listened to Savior Interlude a unfathomable amount of times, and it's just an amazing freaking album. It's like Kendrick was like, I don't care about selling a lot. I don't care about being on the commercials and being on radio a lot. Let me just tell you guys where I've been. I mean, Marianne can attest this more than I can because she listened to this more than I did. I was like, dang, bro, all of a sudden you're a Kendrick fan, you're a freaking fake fan, bandwagon. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I don't know. Here, will you come here real quick? Will you tell me why you liked Mr. Morale so much? Will you come tell them? They can't hear you that well.
I can't.
Why? Why?
A little.
Okay, well, a lot of the album was speaking to her personal life and things she's got going on mentally because she's nerfed. No, I was just kidding. I love you. But yeah, that album was hitting for people that really needed to hear that. But gosh dang, man. Mr. Morale, that was the album of the year. So, as a quick recap, I listened to Michael Jackson. I listened to him as an artist the most. I listened to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers as an album the most. And I listened to Melt Session #1 and Family Ties for the two songs I listened to the most. So go ahead, if you guys would like. I don't know how I could do this on Apple Music or not. I don't know if I could post a link and you could just download that playlist. Maybe I can. Regardless, let me know if you guys want that Spotify. I can get Spotify and Apple Music and try to post those playlists for you guys if you guys would like to listen to those. If you guys want to listen to what I'm doing and whatnot, let me know down in the comments. I feel like we could have a lot of fun with that. And yeah, eventually I want to do a stream where we listen to an album. You guys get my live reaction. So I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched through this entire almost hour and 10 minutes worth of me talking about nonsense, I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys for the continued support and love I always get, no matter how much of a break I always take. I'm telling you guys, November, December are usually just crazy tough months. I'm already inconsistent, but these months are always tough because work is ridiculous with the holidays. So hopefully I can get more consistent. I have some video ideas in front of me right now that I was looking at earlier. I think you guys will really like these. So let me try to get this. Let me try to finish Modern Warfare 2's campaign because I want to finish it and I need to make the videos on that. And let me see about maybe making some of these videos. But either way, you guys, I love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Be good. Stay out of trouble. And that's about it. See you later. Crap. Oh yeah. Blah.